My photographic journey is an interesting one. I'm old enough to remember when film was the main format that people used, but at the same time, I also got into photography too late to experience the film era. When I talk to photographers nowadays who did go through the film era, I usually get one of two responses. The first is, film was overrated and the technology nowadays is so much better and the cameras are better. You didn't miss anything with film. But then if you talk to a purist, they will say that no, I actually missed the golden age of photography and that film was the best format. You actually had to know how to use a camera and, all that kind of stuff. So which is it? Are we better off nowadays with our cushy technology and high megapixel cameras? Or was it better during the film era where things were a little bit more mechanical and analog? I decided I was going to find out for myself. I tracked down an old Canon AE-1 Program, bought a couple rolls of 35mm film, found some old lenses too, and decided I was going to head out and shoot film. So this is everything that I saw, and I'll give you my take at the end on whether I think I missed out on the golden age of photography. Well, before we head out, I thought I would just go over what I'm shooting with today. So this is the Canon AE-1 Program, like I mentioned in the intro. On it right now is a 50mm lens. There's a Canon lens, and then also, going up the spectrum, I also have this 80 to 200mm lens, also a Canon lens. And then lastly, on the big end here is this 500mm telephoto lens. So there's an owl that I'm going to go photograph first with this guy. And then we're going to head up to Evergreen to try to go shoot some landscape stuff and just see what we can get. I don't know what we're going to find, but that is kind of the plan today for the film outing. All right, well, the film outing has begun, and we are starting off with a sleeping great horned owl. And I've got the 500mm lens on my Canon here shooting, and this is perfect because this telephoto lenses, remember back in the day, they didn't have built-in stabilization or anything like that, so the fact that this owl's just sitting there sleeping, just the perfect thing to try to shoot today. So now I'm gonna go get my real camera and try to make some shots too, but so far, got an owl on film. That's pretty cool. On our way up to Evergreen, we saw some deer along the side of the road, and there was a convenient pull-off right next to them. So I jumped out with the 80 to 200mm to see if I could get some shots. All right, well, let's try this. All right, well, we are here at Evergreen Lake, just doing some landscape stuff on film. And it's going pretty cool. We saw an osprey diving in here and getting fish, and I actually did get a shot, but on my actual real camera, I'm not good enough to be able to capture that kind of thing on film. I think I got some pretty cool shots on my real camera, but it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and a lot of people are out just fishing and drinking beer and having a good time, so it's been fun so far. One of the reasons I wanted to go up to Evergreen was I was hoping that there might be some lingering fall colors in the area, but ultimately there really wasn't. So we just walked around and tried to take some interesting landscape shots, and there were some ducks, as you can see here, but overall there was nothing too interesting, so we decided to move on. All right, well, here we are sitting in that famous Denver traffic, heading out for some more film photography tonight, because shockingly, I did not actually go through all of my shots over the weekend. So I'm heading out tonight to some spots that I know of that are pretty close to home that might have some bird stuff, and I am looking at the clouds right now, and this has all of the makings for a pretty stunning sunset. So that is the other thing I'm keeping in the back of my mind, to maybe find a spot to shoot sunset tonight. So anyways, that's what we're doing this afternoon. I'm just gonna try to get these rolls filled up and trying to get some good stuff on them. But yeah, unfortunately over the weekend, there was some things, but just not a lot of interesting things to shoot. So yeah, heading out tonight to see if we can knock some more shots out. All right, well, I am here at Belmar Park, and I found some cormorants that are still hanging around. They are like the people who show up to your party and then don't leave until it's like 3 a.m. It's like, come on, get out. But yeah, I think I got a few good shots of them, so now I'm trying to find a spot. It's gonna be good for sunset, so that's where I'm headed next. All right, well, here's where I found for sunset. It's not happening the way I envisioned it. I was hoping all those colors that you just saw there were going to be closer to the mountain, but they're not. So I'm here just taking some shots, and there was actually another couple up here that was getting photos done. So yeah, definitely looked like a good spot to me, and I'm not the only person who thought that. So anyways, just trying to get what I can on film here, and yeah, we'll see how they turn out. Now we're starting to get those colors over the mountains. This is the shot I wanted. All right. Well, you can see behind me, I got my wish. I was hoping for the colors there over the mountains, and yeah, delivered. So awesome sunset tonight out here in this field. Yeah, kind of close to Red Rocks. So yeah, very cool. The patience paid off tonight, waiting for that sunset. The colors came in. I saw those clouds coming off the mountains this afternoon. I was like, oh, could make a good sunset. So yeah, it totally delivered. Oof. Hell yeah. I love it when a plan works out. All right, well, that was the film-only outing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I did just want to jump in here at the end and kind of go over my thoughts about shooting on film for the first time. I mean, I guess I remember shooting those little disposable cameras like when I was a kid in the 90s, but this was the first time, I think, shooting on a real camera with film. So I guess I go over a couple of the things that I liked. So it wasn't much. But I did I liked having sort of a limited amount of shots. You know, I only had 2 rolls, 36 shots a piece, so 72 total. I mean, when on new cameras you could burst fire 72 shots in one little sequence. So I did appreciate having to sort of take my time and make sure that, you know, every shot counted, and make sure that every shot was with good composition or good framing, and that I would double and triple check my settings to make sure that the shot I was taking was at settings that I thought at least would make a good shot. So I did appreciate having to really kind of slow down and take my time, which I think with new cameras, you don't really have to do. You can just fire away at will. So I did appreciate that. It made me slow down much more than I normally would. I did also like having the feedback of a mechanical camera. And so what I mean by that is I like taking the shot, hitting that shutter, and it actually making noise, and like you can feel it, like when you're in your hand when you take the shot, and then you have to crank to the next shot in the roll. So I don't know. There's something really satisfying about having like a mechanical camera in your hands. That was cool. I thought that was cool. Like I said, with my current Sony, I shoot silent shutter because I'm shooting wildlife. And so I get no feedback at all. I press the button and I just assume things are happening, but there's no feedback really at all. So yeah, that was cool. I did like that part. And yeah, that's really about it. So I know the film guys, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I guess some of my takes on the shots in the video. First off, this 500 millimeter telephoto lens was very difficult to use. And I even called it out in the video when I was shooting that great horned owl. I said, yeah, these old lenses and cameras don't have any sort of image stabilization in them at all. And as I was taking those shots of that owl, even with the camera on the tripod and my gimbal and everything really locked down, like solid, I could tell when I was hitting the button of the camera, the shutter, that there was still a little shake in the camera. And I was really worried that that was going to cause the images to be blurred. And they were. So that was a major bummer. I guess I was thinking like, well, what else could I have done? Like, I mean, it was tripod, like everything. I just don't know what else I could have done to make those not blur when I took the shot, but they did. So that was a bummer. When I saw those shots first, I was like, oh no, the rest of the shots are going to be terrible. I am really not good at manual focus. On my current camera, like my A1, when you go to manual focus mode, it even really zooms in like your shot on the back of the screen. So you can really see if you're in focus or not. And I can't count how many times I've set manual focus and I'm like, yep, we're good to go here. And then I start taking shots and I get home and it's like, nope, they're still just a little bit out of focus or a little blurry. So having to manual focus every single shot I took, I was very worried that my shots were going to be like that, where I thought they looked pretty good, but then when I get home, they're blurry. But fortunately, it was only the shots on that big telephoto that were blurry. All of the other shots were pretty sharp. So I was happy about that part. So the landscape stuff, I think, turned out the best in the video. That was kind of up at Evergreen Lake. We're walking around. We were looking for wildlife. And like I said, there were a few ducks there, but overall, it just was not much interesting happening. All the fall colors up there were gone. That was the other thing I was hoping for. But I think some of the landscape shots we did around the lake were pretty cool. And then we went to Elk Meadow, which is also up there by Evergreen. And I thought a couple of the landscape shots I took up there, I thought were pretty cool. So I liked the way those turned out. And then, of course, that second day, the sunset, I think was the redeemer of the video, redeemer of the concept of shooting film, or just the idea of the video. So I was happy with that. I thought the sunset shots there by Red Rocks turned out really good. And that was, I dumped almost the whole second roll alone was on the sunset. So that was really great. And I thought those shots turned out really well. And a couple there at the end where it started getting almost too dark, but there were still some of those colors. And then that little crescent moon was visible and turned out pretty well in the shots. So I was super happy with that. And so at least, even though I didn't really enjoy my outing on film, at least I thought I had a good ending there with that sunset. So I guess that begs the question, would I ever go shoot film again? Yeah, I guess. I would not try to shoot wildlife on film anymore because I just don't have I don't have the equipment for it, but I also probably I will own up and say that I probably don't have the skill for it either. I just couldn't make sharp shots with that lens. And yeah, so I would not waste film on wildlife shots anymore. But could I see an outing sometime again where I'm going to just do landscape stuff and it's like, oh, let's take a roll of film and, you know, shoot some film? Yeah, I could probably see doing that again at some point. But I guess I was really worried, or what I was curious about was if these shots turned out really well and I was going to be like, oh man, I've just opened Pandora's box on film and now I'm going to dive down that rabbit hole and I'm going to start buying film cameras. And I was really worried that was what was going to happen. But that is not going to happen. This is definitely a rabbit hole I'm not really going down. Like I said, I would shoot film again at some point, but the hassle of it and the shots, and I mean, it cost me $47 to get 2 rolls developed. And I mean, I got it done at Inglewood Camera, and they did a great job. And I mean, they have like a professional lab, and they have lab techs who actually know what they're doing. They don't just throw the film in a machine and spit it out. Like, they actually take their time and do it. So the $47 is well worth it. But then having to wait like almost 2 weeks just to get your shots back, yeah, for me that's a deal breaker. It's just not worth it. So anyways, that's my take on the film outing. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. And yeah, I will be back soon with a new video, I'm sure. So until then, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.